pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Scott?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Linda? Yes. Joyce? Bill?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Okay, we need approval for the video minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second it. Scott?
Yes.
Linda? Yes. Steve?
Abstain.
Bill?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Okay, discussion on the financial report and approval.
Well, here we go. Read it to you here. Bank reconciliation dated for 4/30, 2018. We have $1,751,000 and $735.68. And then the bank reconciliation dated for 5/31 for the month of May. We have $1,787,318.11. Payment listings for May 2018. We spent $33,159.10.
Any questions on that? No, we need approval.
I'll make the motion. I'll second it.
Bill?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Linda? Yes. Steve?
Yes.
Special guests. Budget audit, we just did it. Police did you drop off a police report anywhere? Decker had hurt himself and he'll be in back to duty tomorrow.
Nothing serious or?
He's playing basketball and spraining his ankle a little bit.
It's kind of hard to chase criminals when you're limping, right?
Yeah. And I guess while we're on police, we're gonna get a new deputy. Decker's going out on the other side, go out on the road, and the new deputy is gonna be Gavin Sprout. He's from Ragoon over here, so he'll be right handy in that, and he used to work up the marathon station.
Okay.
So he's a pretty good boy, he knows the area and everything, so I think he'll be good.
Sandy County Sheriff.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah.
My turn.
I think you might be working. Yeah, go ahead, Mike, come on up. Fire.
Oh, let's see, we had 15 calls for the month of May. Brings up to 70 for the year. We received the training grant from the fire marshal's office for reimbursement for guys going to fire class. And we also received a grant from the fire marshal's office, also equipment grant for $10,000 for purchase of SCBA. And then we just had to purchase 10 new pagers for the department. We've got 4 guys in class right now, and we've also had some other ones that are in pretty bad shape that are going to be, no more parts available, I should say. And then I just got a question for council. Fire Association wants to know if they can have a cornhole tournament at the park on the 4th of July.
That's part of us, so
Yeah,
I don't see a problem, does anybody else?
No. We're okay with
They're not sure, I think, how the prop or if they're gonna make any money. If not, I think if they do, they might be donated back to the village or something, so we'll see how that goes. That's all I really had. Pretty quiet.
If you're gonna donate it, donate it
I
back.
think, well, up to the, yeah. The way it sounds.
Okay. Any questions for Mike? Hey, thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
Did we get any place with like getting a loan for the truck or anything yet?
What's
John,
that?
did we do
We
anything?
don't have anything to get a loan for yet.
That's why I was wondering, I'm just trying to figure out where we're at, 'cause I
I
didn't
don't know.
I have nothing. I haven't heard nobody.
We haven't got a bill for anything yet.
Have you sent a check in, all for him?
They've not sent a bill.
They're off the making truck.
It could be right in that.
All right, I'll
Usually,
Yeah.
money.
send Daryl a message.
He said within 120 days of signature, and
When's that been? When we signed, remember?
probably 90 days ago. No.
Oh. It
It's
might have
been
been.
longer than that.
I'm thinking I looked at
Hasn't been
the
longer
other
than
week, I think it was June, we should hear something this month is what I was thinking when I looked at the index.
Maybe I'll make a note, of your email.
Thinking that
Clean up, we'll have to skip, because Joyce isn't here. John?
Okay.
Sewer Street.
I don't have anything for water or sewer. Everything's coming out of the faucet, running downhill, I guess. Street, the only thing I've got is the bid from MGB. We can't afford to do all three, but I'd like to do Monroe and Whole Acre. That keeps us under the 50,000 mark, and that gets us pretty close to having them all done. Then we'd be down to Sullivan and Elm.
Next year.
I think Monroe's a little rougher than what Sullivan is. From David down to Union, Monroe's pretty rough. But that's up to you guys.
No, I agree with that assessment. What do you guys think?
How are we doing on the street signs? Do we get that all put in? I mean, when we go and apply?
Yes.
Yes, we did put them in the township.
Okay.
Yes, they have. They have the order and we can put it in with
Yeah,
theirs.
okay.
Do we need to make a motion to talk about, or make a commitment to these two streets then?
Yeah,
Yeah. We'll bring a motion to the table then to address those two streets for the year.
Which two?
The ones for Hall Acre and Monroe.
I'll second it.
Oh, acre where?
Monroe.
Oh, that's not what it sounded like you said back here. Well, you said Earl. Just saying, I wanna clarify that there's no Earl Street, that's all.
Let you know of any, all right?
Thanks, Scott.
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
Linda. Yes. Steve.
Yes.
Rob.
Yes.
The grant that I put in for windows and doors at the park restrooms, they will be making a decision on those. I think she said the 12th. So at a meeting that they have for the park district, so I don't know anything about that yet.
That'd be nice to get that.
But that's all I have. Anybody have any questions for me?
Thank you, John.
Okay, park. I got deputies lined up. We'll have them lined up. They're gonna come and work from 6 to midnight. I got with Brandon Day. He told me to get a hold of the sheriff's office for a search, the ones that park the cars and stuff. Because we have to go through the sheriff's department now,
Okay.
because they're under them. So I'm gonna get a hold of them tomorrow, because I just found that out tonight. And, let's see,
How many deputies are you gonna have?
4.
And what do they get per hour?
I think it's $35 an hour. It's whatever we paid last year, because that's what, I think that's what we paid last year. And we have the jail, Sandusky County, or Seneca County Jail prisoners coming out. Brandon Stevens is the guy that overlooks them, and he'll be with them all the time. But they're coming out on the 3rd to help bury the tubes and everything for the 4th and that, and do things that day. And then they're coming back on the 5th to help clean up and take the tubes, get them out of sand and stuff and put these back, so.
Just don't buy monsters.
Oh,
I'm not buying lunch.
Or monster.
Well, I think maybe the fire department can probably donate some of the water, can't they?
Yep,
Okay.
sure can.
Now, how much are the fireworks that are ordered?
15,000.
How are we gonna afford to pay anybody?
We got 1,000, we got 1,000 so far from,
That's revenue, that's for next year,
oh,
that can't be spent.
this is what council approves, says 15,000. That's what we went with.
I think we said 15,000 for the total thing.
right, yeah,
That was,
yeah.
police protection, the whole thing.
But we ordered 15,000 worth of
Fireworks.
fireworks.
Yep.
Can you drop that? Can you drop that
It's
amount?
gonna be on order by now.
Yeah, it is on order.
I'm gonna drop it. I'm stuck with that.
So we're gonna appropriate money move it over there so we can pay for it, and then we'll have to figure out how we, if we get donations coming in when we do the drive-ins, whatever, somehow offset this cost. All right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I know, I think Gary said it was gonna get another 1,000, but if we have to use it next year, but we, from Custom Machine. And I,
Sorry.
Yeah, because the issue comes down, because it's revenue, so we can't, it's gotta go in the next.
Oh, I understand, I understand.
So that's why we gotta be real careful about this stuff, because, you know, that's where you get caught in the game, because, I mean, there's rules that you can't.
The bigger issue's gonna be in our July meeting, which we probably, I don't know what day our meeting falls on.
I was on the 3rd.
Do you wanna do what we do every year and move it back a week, or? I mean, that's what we've been doing. It's up to you.
Yeah, right after the 4th.
Whatever it is, we're gonna have to start discussing what we're gonna do the following year.
Yeah.
Not wait until February to start deciding what we're gonna do, because this outlaying of that kind of money every year to, you know, if the whole town was for it, I mean, I wouldn't have a problem. But we don't know that.
Right. It's a lot of money, so we just.
Yeah, it's a lot of
It
money.
is a lot.
Yeah. So I guess the issue is now we have to address this $1,000 issue, right? We're gonna have to appropriate money or something, is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, because if he ordered 15,000 fireworks, I'm gonna have to having to pay for that, and you guys approved
Right.
total of 15, so that's gonna be over for the auditors.
I
So
guess I
now we're gonna have
misunderstood
to-
it then.
And then I'm gonna figure out money-wise.
We'll have to reappropriate unappropriated funds again and ask permission from the county again and go through the whole process.
Yeah.
So we won't be able to pay them officers right away, because we'll be a month out anyhow.
Well, if we have a meeting right after the 4th,
Yeah, but it depends on when their budget commission meeting.
I didn't write a check right away because it took some of them a while to send me the bill. They didn't turn their papers in that night.
Yeah.
It was like a week or two later, so if we have the meeting the following week, we should be okay with that.
Address that issue, but I mean, that's what we gotta watch. But, you know,
So right now, the extra expenses are the 4 police officers and the certs are free,
Yes,
and there shouldn't be any other
and the prisoners
expense.
are free.
And the water.
Prisoners.
Oh,
So the only expense is the 4 officers.
yeah.
I mean, I can cut it down to less officers if you think.
Well, you gotta have crowd control.
With that, now you're entering into safety.
Yeah, you can't, you know, put anybody at risk, because, you know, people get a little inebriated or something like that, you could have a disaster real quick. You don't have enough manpower to control it.
So I guess for the record, you guys need to approve the 15,000 of fireworks, so I can put that with my bill for the auditors.
It's ordered now.
Yeah. So I'll make a motion to approve the 15,000 for the fireworks.
A second.
Scott,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Rob.
Yes.
Okay, and then I'll figure out the other, and I'll note the July meeting for you guys.
Bear in mind that while those deputies are out at the park, we still have a town to run. And
Our,
fireworks are fun, but they're also dangerous.
Yeah.
the deputy that's here, will be here in town, will be in town. It won't be out there.
There's, last year they set off a lot, and this year, and these weren't little bottle rockets, these are pretty, judging from my ears,
Oh, you're talking about in town itself? is what you're
in
talking
town
about.
itself,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
That deputy,
Houses.
I
Yeah.
talked to sheriff, that deputy will be on duty that day,
Okay.
And I'm
it'll be
assuming
for
we
the
have an
town.
ordinance that prohibits that. Am I correct?
ORC prohibits it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, as long as there's a law that prohibits it. I don't wanna have send a cop down there and then all of a sudden someone's, it's not illegal. In other words, I don't wanna harass anybody.
So what is the time then, is it gonna be like 5 o'clock, we're gonna start, when are we gonna start charging for interest in the cars and
I
stuff?
always charged it right at 8 o'clock, because it's coming in.
But we had camping before,
Yeah, yeah.
and there's no swimming, so what are they doing from 8 o'clock in the morning until?
Picnicking.
Yeah.
I think
There's
I
spots
have,
and
but 8
stuff.
o'clock in the morning's awful early, if you ask me for, if it was camping and stuff, like, you know, like we used to do, you gotta understand all that.
Well, you gotta figure out some way to man it, that's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're talking about man, they're to almost 11 o'clock.
No, we usually
Well, we
close
close
that
the
gate at
gates at
6,
6.
and then we open the south gate, and if we've got the parking lot over by the Vesuvius.
Oh, but you won't now, 'cause it-
There is no north gate anymore.
Yeah, the
Okay.
safety-
Bird sanctuary.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Birdhouses now.
Yeah, birds took over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, two birds?
So we just have the south gates.
They get them
Not
free.
by Joyce's.
Yeah, birds be great.
Green on my house.
Joyce
Well,
Last
we can
year-
go deeper now, because we don't have camping.
and Joyce and I usually.
Last year, we kept the main gate open and the north gate open. And used the main gate like we normally do the south gate. Because you can park them through that whole field, because we
Well,
have
let me
campers.
ask this, would it be just as easy as to have the one gate, have everybody come in one place, and then we just make an aisle to go down and park them that way? Would be easier to man, I just want it to be easier to man, we would have less people, we'd have to man, right?
The big thing is making sure they leave an area to get through, to get out into the other field, because what they kept doing is they were parking clear up to the maintenance building, and then there was no aisle to get through,
Right.
so. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, yeah, okay, so you think the two gates are better do it that way? Just figure out some way to man it, I mean.
Trying to get all the people out at once, out of the gate, everybody can get hurried, pick out.
Oh, yeah, it gets ugly no matter how you do it.
Right.
Or at least,
Yeah,
this way we
right.
can send traffic both ways, right?
Yeah,
That's what we
that's
need to
what we
do.
do.
Okay, that makes
That's what
sense.
CERT's good at doing.
Okay. We'll just figure out, we gotta figure out then how we're gonna man it then,
So your mom and I do the south gate.
so. Yeah,
Just keep
And I
doing it.
usually do, well, Steve and I did,
Yeah.
and Michelle, I think she would help put in. But I mean, we could, if you want, what, say noon or one?
yeah, I'm thinking like noon or something like that, I mean, realistically, whatever.
I think that's what we're doing.
Realistically, you know. I mean, because it's really just donations, I mean, we charge those donations to help cover some of the cost, but,
Yeah,
you know, so.
$5 card.
It doesn't get to anywhere near the 15,000, so. Okay.
Something else on the, did you ever get material list on the roofs,
I know what,
the roofs for the gazebo and stuff?
you get in on gazebo, but I mean, we got all the shelter houses.
Maybe square footage, is that what you're talking about?
They said the shingles was missing on the gazebo, was glad to see it.
Yeah, it was,
This is not the word. I went out and took pictures of it.
Really?
yeah,
Yeah, that thing needs re-roofed.
yeah. And we
I mean,
should- and
there's
we
some
should put-
missing, but the ones that are there, the cedar shake, they're all
Curled or whatever?
curled up and nasty looking.
They're the original.
There's a
one.
piece of conduit goes across for the lights, but it's got power on it, by the way, and somebody used it for a monkey bar. So
Yeah.
you got exposed wires. I mean, there's some repairs to do that thing.
It'd be nice if we could get an estimate on putting a roof to match the other ones that we put in.
You know, any pressure treated structure like that, well, after a certain amount of time, especially if you're sitting under trees, you're gonna have to pressure wash it and clean that off, or it's just gonna decay. You know, somebody, I guess, what I was told, asked to paint that thing. And I guess there was some pushback about that from the public.
Yeah, well, the pushback from Don Rose.
Well, I didn't
Not
say
from
her
the
name in a
public.
meeting.
Yeah,
But, you know, it clearly states on there donated, you know, da. And I suppose by that means that we're responsible for upkeep. So we gotta be able, to in the decision process, I mean, Donna's a wonderful person, I hate to step on her toes,
Yeah.
but
I already talked to her about it briefly, and she said just keep it to match the structure. That's what she told me.
you can put stains on it, you don't have to
Yeah.
paint it.
Yeah.
You can
Well-
you can pressure wash it and stain it so it looks more like that renew
Still seal it.
and seal it.
Well, her family did that when we were painting the other, concession, the other
Understand that?
Sure.
But,
shelter houses, thank you, Gary.
But it's not being done,
Yeah.
and it's in pretty dire shape. The electrical and by Hoyle is unsafe. And, it's not their
Put asphalt
responsibility.
in.
If they wanna do it and it gets done, that's fine, I don't have a problem with that.
The roof, instead of cedar shakes, we put asphalt on
Yeah, you can- Whatever you want.
Couldn't they put one of those steel roofs on it, like?
Well,
they put
she
on
wants
it.
to
Or a
keep it-
steel roof. yeah.
She wants to keep it like it was when they donated, I understand all that, but something's gotta be done.
Well, Jimmy, her son and that, he said they thought it looked nice if we put the same steel
It'll last
roof on
longer.
it, and it'll last forever.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that. But I don't know if Donna Rose is in agreement with it, and I'm not gonna step on her toes unnecessarily, but we can't let it fall to the ground either.
And, and I'll get with him and see if that would be all right, and
Don't
see,
wanna
get
do
it,
the
get
right
an
thing,
estimate,
you know?
yes.
I mean, they went through the time and trouble and the money to donate that, it's gotta be upkept, it's an asset to the park.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not just a few shingles missing.
Well, we need to get, maybe see if we can find some people that can fix it up or whatever, some time they can do that, and then paying or whatever for that would cost. You know, need some bit of cost to it, I guess, that's what we need, right?
Okay. Zoning, Rob?
Yeah, I said this before the meeting, but I'll say it for the record. I went down to Mr. and Mrs. Shank's house on King Street. Approached them about a variance for that deck that's on, that's the building into village property. After about an hour, he went ahead and signed the variance. They didn't have the money at that time for the $250 variance. So I said, well, take it, no cash. It's gotta be a check. And if you don't wanna give it to me, take it down to the office and give it to them. And that was right after our last meeting. So apparently that hasn't been done. So here we're sitting with I got a variance side. But I told him, I said, I can't file this until you pay the money. Now, I mentioned this to Scott before the beginning of the meeting, and I don't wanna come off hard and cold. I'm just cautioning, because I'm not gonna make this decision on my own. If you allow a variance, with or without paying it, without is worse. And the next person to come, because to me, I was on that deck, I seen Skylar come out, I would think that there's enough room to get him down that ramp without that deck on the top. That's just me. Not an architectural guy, and certainly not a medical guy. But there's other places on house where you can build a ramp, okay, that wouldn't have been anywhere near that property. You can clearly see there's a sidewalk sticking out on each end, all busted up. Okay, there's no sidewalk on either side of any of the other properties, so apparently it hasn't been used, but it's still on village property. The problem with it's gonna be is the next person who walks up and wants to build something on the property line, on their property, but on the property line. And we say, no, that's zoning, you can't do that. Well, I want a variance. We can't have a variance for that. Well, you just be one without. And we're gonna be stuck. I mean, come to it, he's liable to say, guys, and how many times he's told us is you gotta be consistent. So, and I don't mean to be hard nosed about it, I'm just saying this council wants to think about that before, because it ain't gonna be one or two guys, gals, or anything making that kind of decision, that's gonna be us making that decision. If we make that kind of decision, we're gonna live with it. So think down the road a little bit. But that's all I got from that. I personally think that I've already been down there once, explained it 10 ways to Sunday, even have read it to them word for word from the law. I know, Scott, you've been down there.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going back down there again to explain it again. Okay, and say you gotta pay the money. No, it's been explained and they know it. They got a family, they're not children. And if they don't, or they can't, and I even advise them, address the council. Come on down here and address the council. You know, talk to, I don't want, not from Rob's mouth, but from your mouth. There's no way they're gonna do that. They'd be too embarrassed. Good, that's fine. There's consequences then. So I say, the next meeting, if something's not done, we gotta deny variance. Lack of damn. You know, if that's true, they don't have a variance, they don't have no variance, no building permit. No building permit. It's gotta be turned over to Alex. So, that's probably the hardest thing I've had to do on this council. So, that's where we're at. Next subject. I was contacted by Steve, who was contacted by Steve Amway of Old Fort Schools. He wants to put in a parking lot on the north side of the school, because they have some parking issues with that, which I understand. And he wanted to, Steve says, I don't know the laws on that, get a hold of Rob. So I went through it, and I called Steve, and I told him the rules specifically say that a parking lot like that has to be hard paved and or dust proof. And he says, no, I just want to put down stone. So you can't put down stone, because that dust goes to everybody's houses when you do that. So that's, I'm assuming that's why it's there. So he's gonna get back with his board and talk to them if they can fund the whole thing, but without that, I can't approve that. And I recommend that none of us approve that, because we're breaking our law.
Right.
So that's the only thing I have on zoning. And I'm applying for a permit.
I got a couple things. On that school thing, my issue is drainage. I wanna know where they're
Yeah.
gonna drain that thing to. Because they've already overloaded our storm drains out front with the addition that was put on when they could've run to the ditch out back.
Right.
I sent out 3 letters to the pool people that we know of about fences and them not obtaining permits. And I gave them till July 1 before we start enforcing.
Right.
So they've got a month to figure out if they're keeping their pool or getting a permit for a fence or what they're doing, so.
The one on Emma Street, I don't even see why they would. That thing looks like it's about ready to fall down
That's,
any minute.
that's the second letter I've sent to them. But now we actually have a way kinda to enforce. I
Right,
mean,
we have
we've
a
never really
mechanism.
had a way to enforce now that we've got an officer here. I think we can probably enforce what we have.
Well, we're on the subject of zoning, and since I am putting up one of those, or at least I'm applying for a permit to put in a one of those prefab barns, which are very nice. They're starting to pop up around town a little bit. And I didn't issue anything, because I haven't issued anything. John's the one's been issuing permits, and I don't think, John, last time we talked, you haven't issued anything. So.
Well, I've issued a few, but not for any sheds.
These are those, they appear to be, I didn't go in them, look at them, or step on it, obviously, but they appear to be those metal roofed sheds like you buy out on 53. There's
Or
one.
the airport there, you mean?
there's-
53 on the
Out by the
airport.
Moose, they got one. up
Oh,
there.
really?
They got one in the old Bush Chevrolet lot, and they got some at the IGA up there, same company, by the way. There's one that appears to be, the guy that had the bees,
Are
Yeah.
Marion,
yeah, right behind his house, it looks like there's one. Did I point that out to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's seen it.
See, I used to see that stuff when I read meters, but now I'm not reading meters, I don't see
Now,
all
and
that
I
stuff.
thought they were putting one down there at the end of David. Don't quote me on this, but I thought I seen one going in down there. And I've had other people telling me that these things are starting to pop up.
Down by Bill's,
Down by where Wanda used to live before she passed.
he got a permit for
Okay,
2 sheds.
that's
He's
fine.
got a shed, he had 1 shed up, and he got a permit late last fall and said they're good for 18 months. He wasn't
Okay.
sure if he was gonna get it last year, but he did get a permit for another shed, so.
Okay, so we have one on Washington Street that
Needs to be addressed.
apparently didn't get a permit.
Right.
Looks like a brand new shed to me.
I also believe that there's another one that popped up on Deal Street, and they only got a permit for 1. And I personally don't wanna deal with those people. Just saying.
Well, we're gonna be sending some officer down there.
Well, that's really what you could do.
I wasn't that careful this long to get this old and give it all up. Ain't gonna happen, guys.
Not this quick after
No,
retirement.
no, it ain't gonna
So maybe
happen.
Rob needs to make a list and check it,
Yeah.
have you check it out.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, make a list up and we'll get, if we don't.
Yeah, we can
I'll be looking around town.
We can get together and go through the book and see what I wrote permits for and what I
I'll
have.
do that with you. I'll come down here and talk to you. I came down and talked to you the other day anyway. I was gonna talk to you about that permit. So I'm free. I don't work anymore, Scott.
You probably do more stuff now than you ever did.
Yeah,
gets a lot
I am
more
busier
sleep.
than I ever was.
But we'll see if we get any response from the letters.
Okay. Yeah.
With a small description of why they were getting a letter and copies of their obligation out of the zoning book
Right.
I sent them, so.
Yeah. So that there's no,
That's all we got. So.
Okay. We'll go to old business. Still dealing with the Samplex thing. I guess you guys say go ahead and do it, because it don't cost us any money.
people options, they can do whatever they want.
Huh?
So we give people options, they can do whatever they want.
Yeah,
That's all.
I think that's what.
And there's no cost to us, and there's no, because we was worried about the electric meters, get that all resolved, right?
You know, they said that, don't worry about that, it's not, we pay
Well, we have
that,
no liability.
so, okay, go ahead and call it.
Is there gonna be money received back for letting them do it?
They said, yeah, all we have to do is tell them that you want money for it. Because they do everybody else.
Just- We need to get some kind of compensation for it.
Okay.
I thought that's what we said last meeting, didn't we?
Yeah, we said we was gonna have in writing that it's not gonna cost us, you know,
Is that what
not
they,
gonna
is that
have
what they
to-
did? Is that what you
Yeah,
got?
that one,
And
yeah,
did Alex look through it?
yes,
Alex has.
I'm pretty sure he did, yeah, I will check with him when he gets
Yeah,
back.
let's make sure.
Make sure he's reviewed it, and
Yeah.
then we'll sign, I don't have a problem with
Yeah.
it. Give people options.
If Alex don't have a problem with it, I don't have a problem with it. And you can sign on with it or not, it don't matter to me.
As long as he signs off, then we're council okay with
Just
it.
as long as the village is protected.
Okay, next thing's house numbers.
do you want, are you gonna bring that to the next meeting, or do we need to make a motion to approve that and then?
I'll make a motion to approve it for Alex's, sign off. Is that what we need to do?
I'll second that.
So once Alex looks it over and approves it, then you guys
Yes.
okay with it?
Yes.
Okay, Scott,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes,
Linda?
Yes,
Okay, these are the signs that we got in for the house numbers.
ooh,
There ain't no numbers on it.
There will be, but we had to put more.
I got a pretty good feeling, I know who we're gonna nominate to stick them on.
Yes, I do. I do.
it ain't gonna happen. Hey, Joyce,
I
Yes,
said, yeah.
I think the order of the signs should put the,
ain't it ironic that we finally voted on Amplex and she's not here?
I know.
Anyhow, these are the signs, they do, and what they come with is 6-foot poles like you got for the stop signs and stuff like that to mount them with. I think what I'd like to see, or if we can do it, or if people will,
Doing mine, Bob, the way he did his.
mount it to the house.
No, he put a nice fashionable pole out front and put some
Yeah.
flowers around it, made it look nice.
mine's going on my flower bed out front.
I got it.
But besides,
Comes with a price though.
Well, there's an ulterior motive. As long as that's sitting there, I don't have to worry about people in Old Fort parking in my front yard to go into school.
We kinda was worried about mounting them out towards the street and that, but with 6-foot poles, they're gonna have, I don't think they're gonna be pulling them out and moving. If that's what you guys wanna do, is put it out there.
Problem is with 6-foot poles, we're gonna have to have an oops ticket for every property in town to put
Now,
these
is that gonna be
things.
double-sided?
Nope.
No,
No, it's not.
So how are them gonna, they're facing the road like you're holding it there?
yeah.
And so if you're driving down the road, you can't see it until you're going past it.
See, that kinda defeats
I said that
getting a
the same.
fire
You know,
call.
all the other ones I've seen, it's on both
Right.
sides, and you put it out there, you see it coming either
That
way.
way the post is, you got the post on the back side, and the letters are on both, numbers on both sides.
But that's not the posts that they sent, the posts that they sent are fence posts.
Can't help it, you guys order your own stuff.
No, don't say you guys.
That's why.
we always cut the post off, right? Be 6
Unless
feet.
you wanna get two to every house, and you put them together, I mean, that'd be a little expensive.
It's already expensive.
So we need to face it towards the road, right? So, I mean, so basically, it's either gonna be mounted on the porch, or it's gotta be mounted on a signpost, but it's gotta be facing to the road so you can see it, right? Because it's not gonna do any good to set one way or another, so it's gonna have to go this way then, right?
Well, then you're talking about moving it from the road back
Back to the house.
to the house, which is what we said we weren't gonna do. At least that's what I thought what you were saying.
Right.
We had to have on both sides out in front of the house so they knew at a glance what number.
Driving
it
down the
was.
road, yeah, you can see.
I mean, I already got house numbers in my house, you can clearly see, but you have to look at the house.
Hmm.
So we got, if you're out making because the issue is it's not cheap, right?
That's what was
No,
ordered.
there was not.
They're pretty.
It's a nice sign though. You can put it on anybody's house and work. No numbers.
Yeah, or universal.
That's universal.
Okay. Awesome.
How about if we just get them to spin?
Shut up.
That way you can see, you're covered both directions.
Your mother ever tell you to shut up?
Yeah, I think that was
Rob, you got
several
way too much time on your hands.
I've never seen a single sidewalk.
That's funny though.
You just wish you'd have thought of it.
I know it is.
Nobody called and told me.
No, that one I probably would.
Okay, so we'll have to figure this out.
Splash pad.
Yep, splash pad.
I got a second quote. I'm waiting on a third right now. The second quote probably isn't anywhere near what we'd like to spend. It was $288,000, so.
Yeah.
So, I'm waiting on the third quote from Aqua. When I get that, I'll bring it into you, but this ain't a cheap project. And bear in mind that that first quote I got was a year old,
Yeah.
so.
We
Was
just had
that
sprinklers at
down
Lowe's.
That was
$110,000.
120 and I
Went
don't
up
know
that
how
much,
they're
or you're
doing it
getting
for
more.
that price, and the other one's supplying almost the same thing, and they're double that. So, just so you know. I didn't bring it with me,
Little
because
difference, yeah.
I just got back to town about an hour ago, so.
Okay. Anybody have any other old business to bring up?
Annexation, did he get that thing, did he get?
I haven't talked, he hasn't called me.
I'm trying to figure out, got all that stuff filed with the court. Remember, we had to go up to the courthouse? and-
He acted like he did. He
Oh, right.
acted like he did.
Well, that's what I wondered, we need to figure out if it got resolved.
Well,
That's what came in that splash pad last month, because he was saying, you know, what am I jumping through all these hoops? You know,
Right. And the other thing was for Alice Lou, did he get that paperwork at the courthouse too, so we're gonna follow up, remember?
That would,
Yeah.
he's gonna follow up to that, because he was the one doing it.
Yeah, you know, I'm saying, we gotta make sure that gets done, because that was an issue too, that we had to get addressed. I just think, that just had to be what, documented or whatever, the
Yes.
courthouse, right?
Mhm.
Since we're talking about a park-related issue, when you bring Gavin, what's his name, Sprout?
Ralph,
Ralph, you bring him on, you might wanna educate him a little bit about what's going on out in that quarry right now.
Mm-hmm,
Because there's kids swimming in there every night.
Really?
yep.
They're putting it on Facebook that they're out there.
Really?
Yeah, they're typing it in on their cell phone, I'm here right now. You
Yeah,
know,
Shane
some of
did
them
that.
is just blowing smoke, but I've seen people out there, I got pictures of them.
Well, Deputy Decker has got some out of there.
So that's going on, so we don't wanna
I've kicked that.
change hands and have somebody drown.
Yeah.
And they're gonna keep on going up.
Oh, yeah. But you gotta get somebody sitting there all the time, you ain't gonna catch, you know.
No.
Okay, there's nothing on our old business, we'll go to new business. Everybody's got a copy of this, the village, Betsville water meter reading policy. All of us can read it, I guess. Well, maybe I should read it for the,
Yes, please.
says all meters shall be read monthly. Monthly readings shall occur between the 15th and the 20th of each month. In the event of inclement weather, all usages may be estimated based on a calculated average of past consumption. All services shall be metered unless specifically exempted by ordinance. All partial or fractional units shall be rounded up or down to the nearest whole number, thousands of gallons. For usage, each one whole number is 1,000 gallons. Policy was adopted on May 1st, 2018. And this is what we had to do for for our auditors. So this is one of their write-ups, so
Gary, that should be changed to June 5th.
June 5th, okay. Oh, that's two days, oh, okay. And the,
So I just need a motion.
oh, we need a motion.
I make a motion to accept the village water meeting reading policy.
I'll second it.
Scott,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Rob.
Yes.
Okay, the next one's force accounts policy. That's another one of their write-ups. And we don't have any force accounts, but in case we ever do, we have to have it, they said.
It wasn't a write-up, it was a recommendation.
Yeah. Force account estimates shall be made on all village roadway improvements when said improvements clearly widens, strengthens, or realigns the entire roadway section being considered. Examples shall include but not limited to resurfacing the entire roadway for more than 1,000-foot section using more than 500 tons of hot mix asphalt in order to provide additional load carrying capacity. Widening the pavement for an entire section of roadway 1,000 feet or more and using over 500 tons of hot mix or base stone per mile section. Relocation of a section of roadway in excess of 400 feet. Reconstructing, removing the existing and rebuilding an entire section of roadway in excess of 1,000 feet. When the force account estimates exceed $15,000 per mile for the work to be performed by the village, forces the council shall invite and receive competitive bids for said work. Force account estimates need not to be made for projects considered as maintenance of the roadway. These improvements are those where the integrity of the roadway surface is being maintained and not considered as a major improvement. Maintenance of a roadway shall include, but not limited to, chip and sealing of the surface, spot repair of isolated roadway failures, reshaping earthen roadway shoulders, removing silt from side ditches, mowing side or roadsides, snow and ice control, center line edge line painting, the minor repair of a roadway by leveling off the roadway by placement of asphalt in less than 1,000 foot of section, constructing approaches to bridge and culvert installation, installing and repairing subsurface drainage tile, driveway pipes through and parallel to the roadway. Policy was adopted on June 5th, 2018. We'll make a motion.
I'll make a motion to adopt the force account policy.
I'll second.
Scott?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes,
Bill?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Okay. See, what's that, John? Lido
Enterprises,
invoice, yeah.
this is for the signs, right?
Yep.
Okay, so the subtotal, or the total was $4,755.10. And let's see that. So we have to, council for approval, for invoice was over the approved April's meeting, like $1,255.10.
So it was 3,000, now it's 4,000?
Yeah,
Well, they approved 3,500, up
$3,500.
to 3,500.
And the bill coming is $4,755.
I don't think she had the post in the original estimate.
Yeah. So we pay for the post. So we do have to make a motion for the additional cost then, Angela?
Yep.
Okay. I need to make a motion to pay for the post, or the post, additional cost of $1,255.10.
I'll second it.
Who made the motion?
I made the motion.
Scott?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes,
Steve?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Okay, next one's the Perry Protect invoice.
Yeah, this is for the scanner and all that stuff, and it looks like there's another 12% increase from last year. So it went from $161.28 to $180.63 for this year. So we need to do a motion for the 12% increase then, I guess, for the Perry Protect invoice.
I'll make a motion to approve the Perry Protect invoice.
Any reason why they had such a large increase?
I can't answer that.
It's been 12% the past 2 years.
Has it?
It went from 144 when you guys started,
Yeah.
and then last year it was 160, 128, now it's 180, 63.
That's,
It's a lot of increase.
that's 4 times the inflation rate. We're involved with it now, so I'll second that.
Now, this is what, for the maintenance, right? For the maintenance, so that's the toner and all that stuff, is that separate, or is that toner part of that?
What is it's the BLK base charge. Do you know what that covers, John, with that? I don't know either.
I think that's just a
Black toner or?
I think that's just the business maintenance.
Well, and then they add a $71.40 freight charge. So if they ever have to ship us anything, that's included in that invoice too.
Oh, on top of that.
Are we locked into it yearly, or?
I don't remember what that contract said.
We gotta pull up the visual contract and see what it says and see what that was, how long
Cause
term
I
that
think it was
was.
yearly, I think.
You want me to bring that to the next meeting?
Yeah, I think we need to look at it, and I think we gotta understand, I mean, they're supposed to come in and work on the scanner and stuff once a year or twice a year or something like that, and make sure everything's operational. Was that what that was part of that? That was a maintenance program, wasn't it? I thought we bought originally.
Yeah, it was.
Wasn't it?
That's what I thought it
We've
was.
had this, what, probably about 3 years now, 4 years?
This will be the
Third,
Third year.
Yeah,
Third year.
this is the third bill we've had from them.
we need to look it over again.
Yeah, look over again and see what's going on and make sure
Okay,
we.
I'll bring it to the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay, so Linda,
Yes,
Rob,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes,
Steve,
Yes,
Bill.
Yes.
Okay, we
Yeah.
already talked about the MMB bid
yeah.
on those two streets.
And the other new business, I did, Gary and I both went up to, they had the Seneca County Comprehensive Plan. You want, you're part of that too, when Gary?
No, what, I'm not now.
Okay, so I went up there this week, or last week, and had a discussion with them just about the economic development and, you know, grants for parks and all that stuff, and
Okay.
the Charlie and all that stuff. So we basically talked about, okay, the big picture, what they're trying to do with Seneca County, and, you know, what our views were as far as what we think we can do for the village, or the township, or the county, or whatever we, you know, what we'd like to do as far as tourism, or what other options we might have to try to promote economic development for all the small communities, as Tiffin as well, or whatever. So we talked about all those things. That was all compiled by a group, and then they're gonna go back, you know, read through all the input and give us kind of idea of what they wanna do for helping the villages and getting more economic resources to the communities. Yeah, so that's what this is kind of all about. So I spent an hour and a half up there talking with them, my points of view, what I saw, what I thought we could do, or things I've seen, or things we could do maybe to try to help the community and county as a whole. So all kinds of, they talked about, you know, fire protection, and they talked about police protection, all that stuff, how it works in county, ambulance systems, all that stuff. They just talked about how it works and you know, what improvements we can do, communication, et cetera. So it was pretty interesting. I just, give you an update what we did. So they asked a bunch of questions, sent out a survey, I filled the survey all out, and then went out there and talked to them, so it was interesting, so.
Okay, do we have any other new business to bring up?
do you have anything on this, or you're gonna let
What?
this later?
Oh, yes, no, we gotta bring it up. We got a letter from the Institute for Justice, was addressed to John. Public records request of the Institute of Justice, their village administrator, John DeRuns, pursuant to Ohio's Open Records Law, Ohio Revised Code 149.43B. The Institute for Justice requests the following public records kept, generated, produced, or received by the village of Bettsville, including the Village of Bettsville Mayor's Court since January 1st, 2014, and up to and including the date of this request. All tickets or violations notices issued by the Village of Bettsville. All records regarding the number of tickets or violation notices issued by the Village of Bettsville. All records regarding the reason for the issuance of such tickets or violation notices. All records regarding the disposition of such tickets or violation notices. All records regarding any fines, fees, or penalties paid by defendants resulting from such tickets or violation notices. All records regarding any transfer of any case from the Village of Bettsville's Mayor's Court to any municipal or circuit court. Any reports made by the Village of Bettsville pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 1905.33, including any records upon which such records are based. All records mentioning, referring to, regarding, or discussing the financial effect or influence such tickets or violation notices have on the Village of Bettsville's budget. For purposes of this request, records means any and all writing, documents, correspondence, paper, notes, texts, instant messages, electronic mail, archives, journals, logs, notes, and minutes. If any responsive records contain information exempt from this disclosure, please sever or redact such exempt materials and provide any disposable portions of such records. If any responsive records are exempt from disclosure, please provide an index of the withheld records or portions of records, as well as the Village of Bettsville's reason for withholding such records or portions of records. If there is a cost associated with this request and it is greater than $50, please contact me with any estimate. Please provide responsive records within 14 days of receipt of this letter. Refers to receive electronic copies of any, prefers to receive electronic copies of any responsive records. Please email any such copies, and it's got their email address. Hard copies of responsive records may be sent to William R. Moore, Managing Attorney, Institute of Justice, Washington Office, 1 Union Square, 600 University Street, Suite 1730, Seattle, Washington, 98101. Questions regarding this request may be directed to the undersigned at telephone number or the email listed above. Thank you in advance for your assistance in this matter. Sincerely, Institute for Justice, William R. Moore, Managing Attorney, Washington Office. This was sent out on April 27th of 2018.
And when it was given to me, I come in for some, Angela had called and said I had 2 letters down here. So I come down and got the one that was from the Supreme Court. That's been taken care of, everything's cool there. Then she gave me this one, and they said, since you were the clerk of courts, see what you can find out. So on May the 9th, I called the Institute, talked to Hillary, explained our court was disbanded in July of 2017, told her all our records were handwritten. We didn't keep them on computers because we were so small, and was told she would talk to her boss and get back with me. I told her we'd be more than glad to comply with anything that they wanted to do, but it was going to be less than, it would be more than 14 days. So I waited. I called again on the 15th of May and spoke with her. Told her since I had not heard from her, I was wondering what was going on. Told her I did not want the village at risk, that we will comply. Let me know what you want to do since our court's been disbanded. She said her boss hadn't made a decision on what should be done and that she'd get back with me. So I've been waiting. I called yesterday. Talked with Michael. Was told both Hillary and Mr. Maurer were out of the office and I would be contacted today, and I am still waiting. And I told him I was leaving for Myrtle Beach on Friday. I'd be gone for about 2 weeks. I was turning it back over to the fiscal officer if they needed to contact her. So
We did everything we could do.
I told him the court was disbanded. I told him nothing was on computer. It was all handwritten. So that meant all my logs, all my receipt books, all the tickets, we would have to copy them all and send them, and that might cost more than $50.
Oh, yeah.
Well, what I do is I, figure out how many pieces of paper it is, what it costs, and, there's we have a right to, what was it, 15 cents or whatever we decided it was for the copy cost? What was it?
Was
15 cents one.
it that much?
I
was thinking it was 10 or
It
something.
was like 9 cents they talked about at the training.
So it's more than that.
It's more than that, because we agreed to, I think it was like 10, whatever it was.
Yeah,
There was a number of that.
reasonable cost.
A reasonable cost. So, I have no problem, we can copy the stuff, but and it was put together, say it's gonna cost $74 or whatever it is, and that's what it costs. We have the right to
There's
that.
a lot of paperwork, because you gotta copy every ticket.
Well, that's what I'm saying, that's what you're gonna have to do, and what I would not do, I would not make electronic copies, and I would not, because we're not gonna make anything for them. That's the whole point of this thing, right? So we can give them copies of records, but we don't have to do the work for them, right? We can assemble the paperwork, and if they want hard copies, that's fine, but we don't have to give them electronic copies, we don't have to do that, so, am I wrong?
The only thing that is what we know we possess.
Right. Right.
That's it.
That's it.
And if there's any harm that they feel that they have suffered because of whatever lack of help that they received from Bettsville, they gotta prove that they've been damaged
Right.
to move forward. They can't just say, I wanna sue. They gotta prove there's damages. That was spelled out very clearly over and over again. Right, John?
Absolutely.
I'm glad you're paying attention.
I am, because I listened to that meeting very clearly.
Yeah. Because we all know, I mean,
Where's this coming from? Anybody know?
I don't know, it came about the same time when the other stuff came, but I was told it didn't interfere with what
Well, you've done
came
everything
in.
you can.
Yeah,
to
I mean,
remember.
I don't know.
Angela has, so,
I'm fine with what everybody wants, that's all we can do.
balls in her.
Did you give her, Angela's telephone number?
No, I told him I was turning it over to the village fiscal officer, and I told him the number.
They already know it because they contacted Angela to begin with.
The Institute did,
Not
Oh,
those
no.
people.
not these
Where-
people.
how'd you?
This is from the Institute of
Where'd you
Justice.
get it from? I
From
thought,
Angela.
It came in the mail.
It came in the mail, addressed to John, and since I was the court clerk, they gave it to me.
they know where to send it to, they should be able to find a phone number.
So if they don't respond to her, do you want Linda to make those copies?
Huh?
I wouldn't make them until we hear back from them.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, we give them, just asking for what to
Because
do.
that was my question when I gave Linda the letter.
Survey.
If she's copying them, are you guys gonna pay her for that?
Can't.
Mm-mm.
Right,
No, Can't do
that's
that.
what I mean.
So I'm out of it.
That was
guys.
the big question.
Yeah, we can't charge for that service, only we can charge for the paper.
No. I
No,
can't
paying
Linda's
me to
not-
get
No, we
everything
can't pay Linda, but
around.
we can charge for the,
We can charge per copy.
for copies, yeah.
I mean, we'd have to pay somebody else to do it.
Yeah.
Can't pay, you can't charge the wages.
Can't charge wages.
Yeah, no,
Right.
no, I know, I say we would have to pay somebody to do it,
Right.
out of our funds,
And
but we
I-
can't pay a council person.
And I agree with you that we shouldn't do anything until they contact us and tell us what they want.
I mean, they've had plenty of time.
It's gonna be more than $50, because all the things they throw it out there for, those
Well, they want
services.
all our records, period,
Yes,
that we
that's-
have.
From
I
14
mean,
on, and
from,
there's,
from January 1st, 2014, right up till we disbanded.
which was
I
last
Now
think
you're gonna
the
have to
other
make a
thing-
trip
the
to
other thing
Washington.
wise is get a copy of that.
That's what I said, or I'll go to Seattle, Washington, and say, okay, what do you want? Here's everything we got.
I think it'd be wise, Scott, and.
John, we have volunteered.
and, everybody that can get a copy of that and get it in Alex's hands. And
He's
see
had
what
it.
he's got to say, right? He's the
Yeah.
one who
Yeah.
lived in this village.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna leave everything
Okay.
with Angela. I'm
Oh, we'll
not,
get-
since I'm leaving, I'm not gonna take it home with me.
No, I don't blame it, I don't blame it, but
I mean,
I think Alex is,
That, and probably need to give them an estimated cost, because just look at the sheer volume you got, okay, it's gonna cost this much money, because they, at the end of the day,
and there's things that he's trained to do that maybe there's
yeah,
recourses he can go back to and say, well, what about this, and
right.
Put a kibosh to the whole
Yeah,
thing.
well, and maybe we ought to.
Because this thing's
have them
so
call it.
far removed from this area of the country that this seems odd.
Yeah, there's.
Somebody requested it.
So who's supposed to do the estimated cost?
Well, I think, let's just go with, we'll get it to Alex, have him call them,
So we can
and
define,
then he can have the answer of what we gotta do. And then we can get him the estimate of how much it costs after we do, I mean, we can't really give him an estimate, we have to do every copy there is for those years.
And you have a reasonable amount of time to do it, that's in the statute.
Cause that's what I told him, I said, I kicked it around in 14 days.
it's
No,
not,
We're already-
they-
I already
they-
got
They
it.
can't request, that's not even within the law, not Ohio law. We have to give a reasonable amount, and that's what he was talking about there. If somebody says, I want every copy from, well, fine, but you're gonna wait. You're not gonna put a timeline on it. We don't have a full-time staff here.
And I
So-
also told them I didn't work for the village anymore, but I was the past clerk. And I also told them that I handled no money. When money came in, it was directly given to Angela to put in the account, and
Yeah,
I would throw Alex right in the middle of that.
yeah.
You know, find out, 'cause there's something else going on there.
and when I told her that, she says, well, I'll talk to my boss, I don't know.
Well, if she can't tell you what she wants, that's part of the ambiguity of it, so then I think we get Alex involved.
Once they find out they're talking to a fellow attorney, things may change a little bit.
Remember, it can be used as a scare tactic, and that's what, you know, you can use that as a tool.
Oh, yeah, they're gonna assume she don't know.
Exhibit in here.
Yeah, so that,
So make sure you got all that stuff, copies and all that stuff to give to Alex. But you wanna keep everything, for your files,
There's all my notes that I
the
took.
dates.
Mine when you write stuff like that down, that becomes property of the village of Betsville. and it's
Exactly.
on records. you
Right.
know.
That's
And
why I did
If
it.
you don't have records, you don't have to report on it.
That's correct.
That's why I did it, so that they can't say, well, we didn't do anything. I'm not,
No, that's a good thing to do. Can't write anything down.
Laws of wood denial, right?
All right, as long as you don't have it, he says they can't make you produce it.
Anything else?
and I got, well, Chuck gave me these, they're just from the kids at Bible study, and that, they're just for the console, they got names and stuff on it. Thank you for the things you're doing for us, and they all signed the cards and stuff like that.
Cool.
You can send them around and look at
That's
all
good
of
for the
them.
community.
It's nice to have somebody say something good.
Hey, got one there for you, Bill. Oh, that's nice.
But we might as well end on a good note here.
Thanks, John.
It is all Julie and the kids.
Yep. Well, as the kids are in our life, right?
Very, very nice. Kids are wonderful, ain't they? They
Yeah.
just are. You probably really lived too bad when you was little.
Does anybody have anything else to bring up? No.
Make a motion to.
Please.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
We're adjourned.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
They're just